Roger Tao from D-Link, and welcome to our 5G webinar with a discussion on NTN. So I can see some people have logged in. We'll give them a chance to log in, but welcome to our series of webinars. A little bit about myself. I'm Roger Tao. I'm one Director of Telco and ISP Business here in the UK. We look after major corporate customers, specializing in carrier and ISP services. Any interest, always feel free to hook me up on LinkedIn. I've been with D-Link for 19 years now, and this has really given us a good period of time to get to know the business. Always been with routing and connectivity, so we're happy to share how the industry's evolved. Everything we talk about today, obviously my opinions of the market and how we see it, but certainly we can share what the public information is out there. This is a live broadcast, so any questions, feel free to put at the end, and we can do a Q&A session about our 5G products. So let's start. We're getting a lot of feedback from the industry, and there's been a few very large names promoting satellite connectivity. And satellite connectivity is really the star player has been Elon Musk company. SpaceX, and now it's a subdivision within it called Starlink. And Starlink is essentially, if you haven't been aware and been living under a rock, they've put up 10,000 satellites into orbit, and they have a really strong ability to offer satellite connectivity. And what we want to highlight today for you essentially is there's actually more than one flavor out there. There's more than one company giving satellite data. But ultimately, it's all about connectivity to standard devices. Okay, and I'll really try and bring that in. What I mean by standard devices, and it's really a timeline. So if you need connectivity anywhere, satellite becomes a possibility now. So we are, people like Morgan Stanley here, preaching to the investors. They're looking at the possibility of providing high-speed broadband in any location. So that could be a residential or commercial requirement where there isn't a fixed line, or there isn't plan to get planning permission to access those locations. The satellite could bypass that. Marine, yeah, a lot of, very hot topic these days. Everyone's been tracking ships, but you can go down to the level of tracking containers. And there have been satellite systems that can track your container logistics that have found that very prevalent for them. Mobile homes, aviation, planes, these are all mobile transportation systems, cruise ships as well. People want to have connectivity everywhere, and that's really the kind of age we're in. Starlink is actually on its second generation LEO, low Earth orbit constellation. So this second generation has optimized it for what we call LTE bands 1.6 to 2.7. What does that mean? Essentially, they have a 4G mast in space. That's the easiest way to describe it. So these masts are not terrestrial anymore. So they're near terrestrial, right? They're in space. But for you on the unmodified cell phone, so that's us using any standard phone, is connecting to the Starlink network without any additional equipment. Why? Because they're simulating the connection from the ground, right? It's basically a mast in space. That has started in 2025, and you can see like T-Mobile, KDDI, Telstra, Optimus in Australia, and our VMO2 here in the UK have offered this service. So it's a live service. And what equipment do you need? None. You just use your current 4G handset. It will connect on these commands. Obviously, there's some limitations, right? They started out with some text, and the amount of data you can put through is quite limited. Looking at the socials or how people actually look at the device, they all try to make a FaceTime call straight away on top of a mountain. And that's going to be a problem because at best you would get 20 megabits. But if you can't achieve that kind of speed, it will not be a stable call. So it's really designed for text, emergency, but this is the way to go forward. You don't need any additional equipment, and that's Starlink's ability to start the program today. When you look at the devices that could utilize this, right, there are many devices out there that are what we classify as 4G Cat 1, which is the lowest speed, and Cat 4. These are existing devices, 4G devices, that could connect to a Starlink direct to cell setup, right? Notice our statement compliant with 3GPP release 10 or higher standards. So it means you only need a release 10 device and upwards, and you can connect. So you don't have this big issue about, well, do we need to have a new estate? Do we need to get a new version? This is the whole of the Starlink mantra to use existing equipment. So you could be, for example, an asset management. You could be a mining company. You have lots of 4G devices to track your trucks and your trailers and your heavy equipment, but you don't have the radio network. One option would be to build an open RAN, self-contained SA network, but you could also hire it potentially from a satellite provider like Starlink, and that's the game changer in the market. What has the guys in Texas overcome? Well, they've really been able to build a very large direct-to-cell network with SpaceX help. 10,000 devices into low Earth orbit is no mean feat. And these ones have been optimized to 360 kilometers instead of the normal 550 kilometers. So they do have orbital path degradation, but the reason why they're dropping the altitude is the improvements in latency. And with the improvements of latency, you have a much more realistic terrestrial network. So that's their change there. But they're not the only player in the market. So there is also a very large consortium of AST Space Mobile, and they've been investing in the satellite sector as well. Their take on it is slightly different, and it's more of a long-term vision. And we believe that Starlink after Gen 2 would also track towards that, or they may keep proprietary. But what ASD Space Mobile is doing is they will be producing a product set that uses the next generation of 3GPP standards, right? Those 3GPP standards would be then assigned, or they would come down into our phones or smartphone devices at that point, and then they would be able to connect to NTN. So, for example, if you have any iPhone 16 or above, you can do an NTN satellite connectivity test, right? It's all available. These phones are standards based. If you're not aware or haven't seen it or want to try one of these systems, T-Mobile in the US launched their one back in July 2025. It was a tech service at the beginning, and they are trying to monetize it. I believe the UK offering was only £3 a month, but this is the T-Mobile's key differentiator against AT&T, AT&T, and Verizon. So as operators continue to drive for increased ARPU and uniqueness of their offering, this has been a service differential. One of the key things we've seen from the market is it's currently a differential, but there's not a significant uptake in customers. So lots of subscribers on the plan because they're offered it at low cost or is it incorporated, but actual throughput on these networks are still relatively low. What will really push through is obviously higher data rate services as it moves into more 5G data rate speeds. Videos become viable, people can start streaming. That would obviously propel greater demand. So back in Mobile World Congress 26, they made some highlights about how their new technology is going forward. and also Release 19. Okay, so this NTN Release 19, we've put a little table up for that to help you understand that. But the key thing is you can see that they'll move up to 150 megabits of throughput by increasing their bandwidth available through the technology. So this is a chart just to give you some details about that. So you now understand that Starlink Direct to Cell is a different technology to an NR NTN. NR NTN is a 3GPP standard, which means all handsets in the future will have this chipset enabled. And that's more the ASD space mobile mindset long term. But Starlink is also committed to these next generation version chipsets as well. So everything will evolve, but we find it a really interesting time in the market. And D-Link wanted to give you a little share and asked me to join you to share that information. Any questions you may have, we can put in chat or afterwards. But we'll also talk about our current generation of 5G products that are available from D-Link today. So our core product set evolves with a highlight here with our new G536, which is a Wi-Fi 7 router in 2x2. One of the unique points of it is it also has a 2.5 gigabit port. This can be married up to your fiber connection and used as a failover device. The 5G NR radio is one of the best radios we've ever tested and deployed in market, and we're frequently getting over a gigabit in throughput. The actual unit, we've seen top speeds around 1.8 as well. So it really depends on your radio environment. Obviously, if you have a special standalone network, you could achieve more than 2.4 gig. But generally, with the NSA environment out there, these units are good for a couple gig, depending on the network utilization. They are this unit also, we've added external antenna options. So the default of the unit is a 4x4 radio setup. But if you are in a location and you really need to connect to a long distance mast, you can also add an external antenna and boost a signal outside your building or premise. We also have some outdoor CPs just set up for those occasions when you want to use the device in a non. Oh, sorry about this. In a non in a residential area or where you want to be portable. So this is where we have the DWP 1010, and it has a built-in 5G radio inside. We also have a variant that has built-in Wi-Fi, but this unit has built-in power over Ethernet, and that will allow the device to connect to a router inside. So this is attached outside, and we allow much superior throughput. So these devices are commonly paired with a router. We have a DWP 1010 KT, which is all in one box, easy setup. And we also put a router that's a small form factor router to let people get started straight away. The reason why we do this is why, if we got great 5G indoor devices, why we want to have an outdoor mounted device. An outdoor mounted device has superior 5G reception. And even I was talking about my other router that we could have external antennas. They're still not going to be as fast as a dedicated outdoor unit. A dedicated outdoor unit will give you superior throughput in every instance. So if reception is key for you, then this all-in-one built with mast setup inside would give you the best possible 5G performance. This is ideal also if you want to mount it on the side of a building. So you have a data center or a SME business, and you need to provide 5G backup. Don't have the 5G backup in the bottom of your data center. You can also mount this at the top of the building and pipe it to your rack and your core switches. Okay, and we also want to show you some mobile hotspots. So this is our latest mobile hotspot. This MiFi unit is the F530, which incorporates a Wi-Fi 6 AX3000 Wi-Fi interface with the 5G radios. So we're using the same 5G radios that you saw before. Still can pull, nearly a gig or higher of throughput. This unit also offers USB tethering. So if you just want to connect the device straight to your laptop or device, you can use the USB-C port. Otherwise, you can share the device with multiple users, saving battery power on any shared device. We're often asked, why do we have MiFi devices? Well, say you're going on a trip, you're going on a road trip, and you have 4 or 5 people, all with smartphones, and they want to share devices. You either each have a data SIM. That's not very cost effective. You could buy one data SIM and share it with multiple people. Just use a phone to do that. If you only use the phone, and if you ever done it before, you will notice that phone gets very, very hot. It's utilizing the battery, it's utilizing the modem at full speed with the Wi-Fi engine. It's overloaded, to be said. So if that's the consideration you have ever seen, then you could really have a dedicated MiFi unit that will have a much larger battery capacity, and an integrated wireless access point to broadcast to all these users, and then save on energy. The unit won't run as hot, and the client units won't run so hot as well to do that. The number discussion point would be, well, if the unit is running out of battery, I'm in a car, I'll simply plug into the USB. I'll simply plug into the USB setup to power it. And the concern from that is, if you just plug in the USB and run the power on the 5G, you're actually degrading your battery. So one of the things that people may not be aware of is when you charge lithium-ion batteries on smartphones, you don't really want to be using the smartphone at the same time. If you do it, you'll degrade the battery. So again, protect your smartphone, protect your battery. If you want to do wireless 5G sharing, use a dedicated MiFi device like our F530. And one final thing, the engineering guys would love me to highlight, this also has a quick QR code setup. So if anyone says, oh, can I get onto your MiFi? And you say, sure, how do I get on? You simply press the screen and it'll flash up a QR code. They scan the QR code with their camera and they're connected. So that's a short little introduction to some of our highlighted products. I'm able to take any live questions if any have been put in. But thank you for your time, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.
No questions have come in yet, Roger. I've just been monitoring in the background here, but we can hang out for a couple of minutes if anybody wants to ask any questions on anything that they've seen today, or we've got the contact details up on the screen there, and you can hit us up on the email address as usual, or ask any questions. We will be uploading this to YouTube as well, so leave any comments or questions on YouTube, and we'll get back to you and answer them as soon as we can.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, if you want to put a question, just put it into the chat box. But the guys here at D-Link, we wish you a good day. So if there's no active questions or anyone wants to type anything in, we will end the call.
Nothing. So just thanks to everybody for joining. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for the next one.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.